So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast, a podcast about the 5th place Aston Villa team in England's Premier League. Just in case anybody is wondering, I have some sort of eye infection at the moment, so if I'm squinting at the screen, I'm going to make all the apologies in the world for that because there's lights just beaming down on me here. So just in case anybody is worried about my well-being, just like, you know, in fairness, a lot of people were worried about the well-being of the Aston Villa team in the second half in that performance. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0. I have a few thoughts on it as well. Paddy's going to join us in a moment. As you know, Paddy was in the boozer, so he's making his way back home and he's going to jump on as soon as he gets back. But until then, it's just me and you and your wonderful comments. So get them in there. If you do like this, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel already, come on. We'd love to have you on board because Villa are in 5th place in the Premier League. And I suppose to synopsize what I'm going to say now for the next couple of minutes is, don't really give a shite how we get there. So, game of two halves. Aston Villa very much so controlled the first half. You know, while we controlled it, we didn't really have any cutting edge. And I think that's, you know, it's not unexpected. It's not unexpected for me. I didn't expect this to be a cakewalk at all against Fulham. I was wondering what Fulham were doing from an offensive point of view in the first half. They just didn't have anything at all. Omar from the Villa Talks podcast messaged into a group I'm in. He asked, were Leicester doing some shape work? And that's what it looked like in the first half. And Villa were very comfortable. I didn't look at any statistics during the first half or even during the whole game, to be honest with you. But I would go so far as to say that Aston Villa's two centre halves had more touches and more passes of the ball than I'd nearly even go to say the whole lot of Fulham's midfield. Because we played an awful lot of the ball around in front of our own goals. We drew the team out, and I thought we did it really well. It's nerve-wracking. It's always going to be nerve-wracking until we can banish the memories of Stevenage and of Brighton and those games. But we played it out from the back very well, I thought, in the first half. Yeah, the cutting edge wasn't there. In the first half, I thought McGinn was absolutely superb. I thought McGinn was superb throughout, to be honest with you. I thought he was really, really good throughout. We missed something. Buendia, I thought in the first half was pretty good. Thought he had a couple of good touches. The second half, he things didn't go his way. He started complaining to the ref. I was surprised he lasted 90 minutes, to be honest with you. Ollie Watkins didn't see an awful lot of the ball. I'll hold on to talk about the refs until Paddy comes back because, like, you know, it's. I know. Look, we can talk about human error all we want, but there's just things with goal kicks and stuff like that just shouldn't be happening. But anyway, that wasn't the reason that we didn't win the game by more, and that wasn't the reason that Leicester lost the game at all. Or sorry, not Leicester, Fulham lost the game. I think overall the first half, though, definitely, you know, we were really, really comfortable. You have to remember as well, guys, we're coming off the back of a game at the weekend, and that game at the weekend was tough. We really had to dig hard to get back into that game and had to get that drawing goal in the 87th minute. That was on Saturday. You know, we're on Tuesday now. You know, we had away trip to Brentford, had to get back. Probably had no real game planning. I would say minimal kind of recovery time. The minimum that would have been allowed, I would imagine, was given. And then you go out and you put in the first half performance. The second half performance was a lot more turgid. I think the only thing I agreed with Stephen McManaman through the whole game was at the end of the game when he was trying to pick his man of the match. Not his man of the match, because I didn't think Douglas Luiz was man of the match, but he said that it was a poor game, and I think overall it was a poor game. But look, once again, guys, I couldn't give a shiny one. I really, really couldn't, because Aston Villa are in 5th place. We've 6 games. We've spoken about these games need to be cup games from here on in, as in we need to win and we don't care how we win. we've 6 games to really, really cement our place in this season, and we'll finish where we deserve to finish based on our points total. And at this moment in time, we deserve to be in 5th place. I don't buy into the whole. I haven't looked at any of the comments, guys, as well. So sorry, apologies if anybody has put this in comments. I'm not having a go at anybody here in the live stream or anything like that. But saw a couple of things on Twitter saying that and actually it wasn't from Villa fans. So, but once again saying Jesus, Villa are lucky to be where they are again. You know, and the XG stuff started to come up once more. Like, it doesn't really matter. It genuinely doesn't matter. You need you need to be able to defend to win football games. You need to be able to defend, and Aston Villa defended today. You know, we defended. We kept another clean sheet. We've only conceded 2 goals in open play in 10 games. We've now reached the 10 game. Is it 10 or is it 9 games? It's 10 game. It's a 10 game unbeaten streak now in the Premier League. We're doing some fantastic things. We've scored in 20 consecutive games. Another fantastic record. Stretched out. We've now scored in two more games than the previous incumbents, Mike Walker and Carlo Ancelotti. Aston Villa are doing some really good things here. We're a system team. We're a team that are difficult to beat, and God knows there's for the last decade we've wanted to be difficult to beat. Yeah, we made it difficult on ourselves at times today. We obviously didn't score half enough goals. I thought 2 goals would win this game. Delighted that 1 goal won this game. I predicted 1-0 and a defensive goal. So, you know, you get something right sometimes. But and look, I've no problem with anybody who walks away from that game today feeling like, oh, Jesus, Villa look poor today. That's fine. I genuinely don't care. We've got a big game at the weekend. We're off the back of a big game at the weekend just gone. And we still came out of this with the right result. And we now have heaped all the pressure in the world on Spurs tomorrow night against Manchester United. All the pressure in the world is on them to now regain 5th spot. And they may get a draw and they may regain 5th spot. I would have liked this today. I thought after we scored the first goal, the way Fulham were playing, we could have gone and tacked on another 1 or 2 and it would have looked very good from our goal difference. But we can't. But I'm not greedy. You know, I always expected this to be a difficult game. This was Fulham's last throw of the dice to get close to potentially, maybe, like, they were always a dark horse to get in there, but potentially get to 7th place. But we went out there and we beat them 1-0, and we've now ended any hope of them getting into Europe. They will now be on the beach. I hate that phrase, but you know what I mean. They're obviously going to play for pride because they're professional footballers. Some of them will probably be out of contract. Some of them will probably already been told, listen, if we can get a replacement for you next year, you know, we're going to move on from you. But for me, I think that, I think that, and actually, you know, I just turned on the comments there, and I'm after seeing something here, and I knew I meant to write it down so I'd remember it. But where's it gone to? Where are you going to add? Here it is. 5 home wins in the trot, first time since 1993 under Ron Atkinson. I cannot be disappointed with tonight 1-0. I can't be disappointed tonight. I can't even be kind of grumbling about the performance because we're coming to the end of a busy season, and you're going to throw in performances like that. But the difference between Aston Villa in 2023 and Aston Villa since 1993 is they haven't won those games. They've maybe drawn them 1-1. And yes, they had the ball in the back of the net. He was 1.5 miles offside. And yes, they crossed a lot of balls, and we gave them the ball, and we did sit back, but we've done that against Leeds earlier on in the season. We did it against Spurs for the majority of the game. Yes, we won 2-0 and it papered over an awful lot of things that we did there. But what we've done is and once again, that word shape work that John McGinn has used previously, it's very, very good at the moment. We're very good at getting back and defending. And John McGinn showed it today. Douglas Luiz was very good getting back to defend today. Thought he was better in defence than he was going forward. Ashley Young, I think, looked a bit leggy. I probably would have taken him off 10 minutes before they did, because they did try and hammer him again, bringing on Tom Kearney, bringing him down that wing, putting Dan James over there in that wing, taking him out of the central position. They brought on Vinicius, who just wanted a scrap for most of the time. But, like, it's difficult to turn around and sit here and say that was a real professional performance there, but it kind of was when you think about it. It wasn't the performance that any of us wanted to see, but I genuinely don't really care because we've come out of it with 3 points. We get to regroup again, and we have a very, 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 once again, the next most important game of the season is against Manchester United at the weekend, and they have Spurs to come tomorrow. So we get 5 days. We get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days really of rest and planning for Manchester United between now and their game. They only get 3. So once again, little things to be taken from that. I'm going to come to your comments because Sir Patrick is going to be joining me soon, I think. Where are we? Oh Jesus, there's a ton of them. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your comments. Yeah, where are we? McManaman, the worst commentator ever. He's up there. He probably will be on my Mount Rushmore. I'll be honest with you. There's sometimes I enjoy him for some, like he's a bit Partridge-esque in some of the things that he says, but yeah, like he goes with the flow, I think, so much in the game, and he's I find him a tough listen to as well. But look, as I said, there's worse things happens at sea than Steve McManaman. So Himalaya says it without say that Bundia and then in capital letters to emphasize his point, sucks or still not. No, I don't think he sucks. I think he's fine. I think he's a grand player and he has bad games when the team plays poorly. And I don't think anybody played more than maybe a 7 today. I give a 7 to Mings, 7 to McGinn, 7 to Kanza. I think probably everybody else was a 6 or below today. So yeah. Bundia is like he was completely and utterly marked out of it today. I do agree with you on that one. Where are we? Let me just see here. I hate doing it on my own because I have to scroll down through the comments as well. Ian Smith says terrible game, but 3 points is 3 points. Yeah, I once again that has to be the overarching feeling. Like we're in no position to be the Harlem Globetrotters every single week. We're in no position. We're still a team in transition. We're still a team that's learning our way, even under Unai Emery. And if anything, this game should show us that we are a team that's comfortable to soak up pressure. And at times, we will need to do that. We'll certainly need to do it at the weekend against Manchester United. And I still feel that if we do go out against Manchester United and try to soak up pressure, that we could be, it could be that the team will be comfortable to do so. A dirty win, said someone there. I was scrolling down. Sorry, whoever that one was. I agree. John Steele says we gave the teams around us almost 3-month head start and we're still 5th. Apologies to Paddy. I couldn't make it into Flannery's tonight. I'm sure Paddy will be fine. 3 points will raise all boats there, John. Don't you worry about it at all. Yeah, and Aidan Wall says poor performance or not, 10 games unbeaten is remarkable. I agree indeed. Lot of Buendia dislike in the comments. And like as I say, he's what we have at the moment, and I definitely think that he is a viable member of this team. But like, is he upgradable? He absolutely is. But I'm not there yet to throw him out with the bathwater for the final 6 games of the season because I think that he's a vital cog in what Unai Emery wants to do to create space. Neil, I think Stephen Warnock deserves a shout out in co-coms today. The Villa service after the last few wet Nellies we've had in each stream. Oh, Danny, you had a different stream to us. You had a different stream to us for sure because we had Stephen McManaman, not Stephen Warnock, on our stream. So I'm kind of jealous of you for that point. I must say. Where else are we here coming along? Philly D says Tyro Mings top block. I think he was really, really good. I thought he was really good tonight. Thought he looked really assured. He carried the ball forward, put his body on the line for a couple of blocks at the end. And even though he doesn't have the armband, players still look to him for guidance as a leader. And I thought he was really good. Thought Konza was really good tonight. Konza is just a pure defender. He's good with his feet, but he comes across as a guy who loves to defend. Like you see that bit at the end where Vinicius kind of caught him with a flailing arm and he was going over, and he still managed to poke the ball away with his toe. He got the free for it. Little things like that. I'm beginning to really warm to Konza. I was worried about him at the start of the season, but he hasn't put a foot wrong pretty much since Unai Emery came in. And I must say, he's been a breath of fresh air. And that partnership is really good to see. They don't get cut out too often, which is absolutely fantastic. And I turned very Welsh when I was doing my and I said absolutely fantastic. Who else do we have? Charlie Carter from County Kilkenny. 3 points are 3 points in my opinion, and we are fifth. Absolutely. Where are we? Where else are we? Sorry there, guys. I just scrolled a small bit down through the comments. Oh, we've got Paddy. Paddy's back from his séjour to the public house. Paddy, how does
Good
it feel?
evening.
Do you have to hold the nosebleed from being in fifth? Did you?
Nice feeling. Look, it wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. The match wasn't pretty. But look at the league table now. It's all worthwhile. And look, the all we wanted out of this game, and it was quite obvious that all Unai Emery wanted out of this game was a win. We got the win. We're happy, and we're looking upwards. That's the most important thing now. We're not worrying about the people around us. We just got to keep winning our own games and winning our own battles. We've done that today. A professional performance. I see there's a guy saying that in the comments there. That's exactly how I look at it. It's just one of those ones that we won't remember, but a very important 3 points.
Yeah, I agree, Paddy. A flat game, a game whereby Fulham came in the first half with no real vigor at all. We got a goal from a corner. First of all, we scored from a corner, which is fantastic. Second of all, great to see Tyrone Mings get that flick, and it was a beautiful header as well. Really, really was. And we got that 1-0. I thought we might get a second. But we didn't really look like we were ever trying to get out of third gear, to be honest with you. And that's not being cocky. Don't get me wrong. I think there may have been an element of we come out in the second half. I don't think we're good enough to do this yet. But come out in the second half, it was a case of come out, keep it cagey for 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes turned into 20 minutes, turned into 30 minutes, turned into 40 minutes. And only really in the last 5 minutes when Douglas Luiz had a snapshot go over the bar, which was a poor shot. John McGinn had a snapshot go wide. Ollie Watkins, previous to that, got down the side of Tosin, and it was clearly a corner kick as it comes off Tosin and by Arrow, or what, I can't pronounce his name, but the referee gave it as a goal kick. But yeah, look, there was no really attacking intent from either team. Like Fulham, the goal they had in the back of the net was mile offside. The best chance I thought that they had was the one that flicked off Mings, and Emi Martinez just had to kind of adjust his feet at the near post, and he got down to it comfortably and saved it. It was just a bit nervier than I think any of us wanted or expected. But Paddy, you normally do this, and I was waiting for you to come in here. But everybody, it's been a long time since we've opened the can on the podcast, and we're in fifth place, so we should be able to to celebrate this. So, that was a brutal flick.
That's craft beer.
Cheers,
must be a craft beer, is it? It didn't give any space at all.
I'm drinking a lovely single hopped Citra IPA today from 8 Degrees Brewery, based out of the lovely Ballyhowra Mountains on the border between between Limerick and Cork. Lovely place to go cycling. If anybody ever comes to Ireland, bring your bike, or you can hire them there as well. Rates are very cheap. This is not a sponsored post. I'm just filling time as I fill my can. As I fill my glass. But yeah,
I won't join you because I didn't have one in the pub either, so I'm on the dry.
I know. I should, only for the fact I got news today that I'm off tomorrow. So myself and Paddy were trying to do. If you've ever seen the film Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, we were actually trying to plot a path to get over to this game, and I had asked for the day off work, and I didn't know that it had been approved until like about 4 o'clock today. But we were looking at ferry times. We were looking at everything to get over and to get back for work tomorrow morning. So it was, so we obviously
kind of glad now I didn't. Kind of glad now that I didn't.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the win, but I'm glad we didn't go planes, trains, automobiles to sit through it. It was hard enough to sit through it on the TV. But look, it's 3 points. It's another step closer. It's time to draw a line under it. Now I did have the podcast on the car, and you got it slightly wrong. You said Man United are playing tomorrow. They're not playing till Thursday, which means they've got even less recovery time. No,
holy McGolly, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's really going to be.
Jeez, to be 500 people watching, Paddy.
It's going to be a huge turnaround for them to turn around after Thursday, and a tough game, I hope, for them. So, yeah. Did you save the referee talk for me? Yeah.
I did, and we'll let you go loose now in a moment. I just want to say thank you so much, Matt Hanlon. Belated points for podcasters, taking the win.
Cheers,
Mings is the bane of Fulham. Yeah, I thought Mings was really, really good tonight. As I said, I probably would have given him man of the match or John McGinn. I wouldn't have given it to Douglas Luiz, not because he was particularly bad or anything, just I thought the Mings and McGinn were better. And Matt
John
Hanlon
McGinn
comes
for
in
me.
again and asks people to smash the like button. So please do, please press the like button. We've over 500 people watching. This is amazing. Thank you so much to absolutely everybody who's here. Francie C, John McGinn is Evan Magic up the Villa. Love it, absolutely love it. That's Paddy. So talk to me about the referee. You know, we had a bit of a chat about this referee. Referee actually went to Japan and ref 3 games, I think it was, in the J League during the season. And he's 15 games in the Championship, and this is only his 6th Premier League game. So talk to me, Paddy. His name is Tommy Bramall, and he's from Sheffield. So
Tommy Bramall from Sheffield. But I gave a little bit of a rant
nice
to you
as well, though. Just to be,
I gave you a little bit of a rant this afternoon because I did my research on him. That it's only his 6th Premier League game today, and you know I just think there's a total disrespect for this fixture, given the fact that we were fighting for something today. I think we could have been given a better referee. I think we Jared Gillett on VAR, had we?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was Danny Murphy when he didn't give the penalty.
Danny Murphy?
Yeah. Former Fulham player Danny Murphy.
Oh,
hates Villa.
Yeah. But look, some very questionable decisions. That was, for me, if that's Man United, that fella is fucking jumping up and down to give that penalty. He wouldn't wait. He'd give a yellow card and all in there. It's absolutely outrageous. And then 2 blatant corners, and he gives them the other way. He was miles off the pace. He was more worried about his lovely skin fade on the side of his head than he was about refereeing that match.
Nothing wrong with skin fades, Paddy. Nothing wrong with skin fades.
Just jealous that he had there. Look, he's a poor. It was a poor game for him. I really think it was a poor game for him. He let an awful lot of. There was one. His name escapes me. I think he was up to 7 or 8 fouls at one stage, and I went, "At what stage does this get persistent fouling, get a yellow?" And he did nothing. It just smacked of a fella that just wanted to get through that game without any problems. Yeah. Why they didn't bring him to have a look at the penalty incident is completely beyond me.
I don't think it was a penalty. I did at the time. I thought it was. Look, once again, but do you know what? 2 things can be right at the same time. I think VAR might get that wrong. If the ref gives it, I think VAR allowed the penalty to stand. So,
it was a penalty. I don't care what anyone says. That was a penalty. when you look at the penalties that have been given against us since VAR came in, that was a stonewall penalty by the letter of the law of what they're giving against us. So nothing is going to convince me that wasn't a penalty.
You get to touching the ball after Watkins does, but it's as I say, it's minimal. But once again, as I say,
I'm only highlighting the things that he got wrong. There was very little in the game for him to do. Yeah. You know, it wasn't a dirty game by any means, and it's 3 points on the board. It was nothing got to do with the referee. It was the drab affair had nothing got to do with the referee either. So I thought we marshaled the game very well. I thought we stuck to our plan. We grinded out. We got the result, and all that's important is we're sitting in 5th place and we're looking at a European spot, and it has to keep going. I was a bit disappointed that the fans lost a bit of patience in the second half, which is totally their right to lose patience. But I thought over the last few weeks they'd kind of got over that, and they seem to be really buying into the project. But you have to understand that these guys are going to the well here. They've been playing week in, week out. We haven't had the luxury of mixing it up and giving fellas rests and stuff like that. So we have to be a little bit conscious of the fact that there's a lot of tired legs out there. We 37-year-old Ashley Young playing a second game in 4 days.
He looked tired for about 60 minutes.
It's tough. It's tough going. Even the youngsters, I thought Jacob Ramsey looked very tired. I thought Ollie Watkins looked very tired at the weekend. Looked a bit more lively tonight. Look, it's 3 points on the board. Nothing else matters. Absolutely nothing. The referee doesn't matter. The fans don't matter. we
Fans
will
do matter, but the
well,
atmosphere, I think, is
no,
what you want to say.
their
The
opinion now doesn't matter because there's 3 points on the board, and I'm sure they'd rather 3 points on the board than be completely entertained for 90 minutes.
I just want to say I'm not as I think that like I said this in the Claret and Blue podcast. I think sometimes you go to a match and you're more concerned about the outcome of the match, or you're more concerned about what's going on in the field, and you get drawn into it than you are of singing songs in the stand. I think tonight was that game. There was nothing really to sing about, and I know people say the fans lift the team, but we're in such an elevated position that getting 3 points tonight was all that mattered. And I think a lot of people are on tenterhooks with regards to that. And
you know what? From a club point
agree.
of view, bear in mind the absolute shock. The absolute shock I got yesterday at the price of my season
that's
ticket.
another thing. Yeah, what's the thing about with regards to those?
We will get to that probably later in the week when we talk about the Man U.
So
but there's a lot of people in that stadium now wondering, how, number one, how we're going to afford to renew the season ticket, and number two, will it be worth it? So it was absolutely vital from a club point of view to get the 3 points today.
Yes,
and kind of settle the nerves of the people who are trying to justify spending a season point. Like for me, a season ticket, which is now 200 quid more expensive than it was 2 years ago. That's outrageous. But look, if I'm watching European football, I think I can take that and be happy to move forward. But it was a shock yesterday for a lot of people.
It's a tenner a game, like when you think about it.
Yeah,
we had a game.
We had a lot of warnings over the last few days, and then for it to drop yesterday was tough going, especially after only getting a point at Brentford. So anyway, 3 points on the board. We'll talk about that later in the week.
Exactly. Yeah, you robbed the words on my mouth. I was going to say that's why I could empathise with maybe a bit of frustration in the ground slightly, or a bit of quietness in the ground as well, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at the moment, and plus also I think everybody was there going, we need to win this game. If we lose this game today, it would really we would come to a shuddering stop, I think, with our European adventure. But winning this game keeps it very much alive. And we win it the weekend against Manchester United. Oh boy, does the train start to gather juice then? Because Spurs have United on Thursday, and I think they've got Liverpool on Saturday and Sunday. So or Newcastle, maybe it might be. I can't remember who it is. I think it's another team in the upper echelons of the league. So hopefully that is something that plays into our favor. But once again, we need to get our own results for sure. Somebody here, there was a comment that I had highlighted. British Mick, who did the best ever Stephen Gerrard impersonation to appear on this podcast when we did the I might bring back the voicemail phone-in show, because that was a bit of crack. And you know what? I don't even know why I stopped it. When I stopped it, everyone else started doing voicemail podcasts as well. So I bring it back because British Mick, seeing your face there in your avatar reminds me of your unbelievable Stephen. Actually, I think I saved it. Oh no, it's probably deleted now because they delete after 90 days. I meant to download it and save it, but it was absolutely brilliant. But British Mick says Dendoncker is crucial in the system. He does the simple things well, and we would love to see his stats. I'm taking a break from stats tonight because I think the game is so
I tell you what, Neil, one glaring thing that hit me today. How quick was he in recovery there to get back and cover that and shield the ball and win the free kick? I didn't think he had that in his legs. So, credit where it's due. He looks like he sauntered around the pitch. But by God, when we needed him there, he opened up his legs and got there in time. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Aurelio Gomez, thank you so much for that. Aurelio Gomez, Chats and Snacks. I know you've changed your name. You've added there's an addition onto the end of it. Go ahead, Aurelio. There was someone else. Dico Blanco, shout out to the regular squad in the comments, always spreading positive vibes. Keep up the good work, Neil, and the Padstar for the love of the Padstar. Yeah, and I want to shout out again to Jonathan Fairless as well, who was sitting in Paddy's seats today. I hope you enjoyed the game with your boy, and we got the 3 points. He has put in a motion for our next AGM between myself and Paddy to change the podcast name to For the Love of Paddy podcast. It's, as I said, we haven't thrown it out.
Doesn't have the same ring, Neil. No.
We haven't thrown it out. Okay, we'll give it the consideration it deserves, Jonathan. We'll give it the consideration it deserves. If you're
It's great. It's great that
Mm-hmm.
his son got his first game and saw us actually win a game. And while you're on the subject of that, Neil, looking for someone with contact with season tickets. I know somebody, Neil. Just send me a DM and I'll look after you.
Yeah. Colin Smith as well. Thank you so much, Colin Smith. We're going to get to all as many comments as we possibly can. And Jonathan Fairless is in the comments. Super sticker.
Oh.
There you go. We were just talking about you, Jonathan. Yours must have been burning off you, but I hope you had a great day at the game today. I had a question there. There's so many comments. I'm not complaining about the amount of comments. I flipping love them. But I saw a great one there a moment ago, and I was just about to come back. All right. So when I'm scrolling up through this, Paddy, I was going to ask you, is this as good as it's been since under O'Neill? But you barely got over under O'Neill because you were bedding down the family and doing the house and all that kind of stuff. Where I am at the moment. But I suppose, is it as good as we've seen? Is as good as it's been since O'Neill? I suppose the easy answer to that is yes. But I go one further. Is it as good as we've seen since Gregory? Is it better than O'Neill?
That's debatable.
If he does it for 3 years in a row, yes.
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason why. Like what everybody is overlooking here is he's done all this with Steven Gerrard's players. It's absolutely incredible the job he's doing, with the exception of Alex Moreno, who even doesn't get to finish 90 minutes at this stage. He's done all this with Steven Gerrard's players, the same players who we were languishing around the relegation zone when he took over. So this is probably the greatest turnaround I've ever seen. Maybe the 10-game winning streak in the championship, but completely different field, being in the championship from being in the Premier League. So this run for me has been absolutely intoxicating. Everything about it, every little different way he's approached every different game has been amazing. For somebody who loves tactics, it's been great to watch. Absolutely a joy to watch. And it changes that little bit with every game. And not so much that we got it wrong against Brentford. Brentford was the only blip really along the way, and that was because Brentford were good, and we probably didn't give them as much credit. Having listened back to the podcast, I don't think I gave them as much credit as they deserved.
And I fell down a rabbit hole. So just actually on that question that you asked there, fell down a rabbit hole last night. Not a rabbit hole many people want to go down, I suppose, really. And it wasn't an Aston Villa trade. It was a Newcastle trade, and they were discussing how Eddie Howe's turnaround of Newcastle United was immeasurably better than Unai Emery's turnaround of Aston Villa this year. And I don't agree. And it's not because I've got claret and blue glasses on, but factually, it likely isn't going to be true. And also, there's a lot of context with it. So Eddie Howe got 44 points from 27 games last season, which equated to 1.63 games per average. A super feat. Don't get me wrong, an absolutely brilliant feat. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he win Manager of the Year last year? If he didn't, he probably should have.
Can't remember.
Unai Emery so far has gotten, on my piece here, I said 39 points. Now he's gotten 42 points from 20 games, which averages out. Well, sorry, I'll go back to here. When at the time of writing of my text message to you, Unai had gotten 39 points from 19 games, which averaged out at 2.05. So we'll call it 42 from 20, averages out about 2.1 something points per game, which is half a point more per game so far on average this season. Newcastle also finished on 49 points in 11th place last year. Granted that they hadn't won a game before Eddie Howe came in, but they signed Trippier, they signed Bruno Guimaraes, and they signed Chris Woods, if I'm not mistaken. I'm open to correction on those three signings, but I'm nearly certain they signed all those three players in January. Whereas we could finish in Europe, we're going to have more points than them. Unai is going to amass more points in a shorter amount of games, and we're potentially going to finish in Europe. And Unai Emery brought in Alex Moreno, recalled Bertrand Traore from loan, and bought a 19-year-old unknown entity from the MLS. So for me, it's shaping up to be better. And this isn't a go at Newcastle United. I probably wouldn't have even brought this up in the podcast, only for the fact that the question was asked, is this the best we've seen? It's the best single season we've seen since probably John Gregory, I think. Best run of games that we've seen since John Gregory. And what I mean by that, and will turn out, but like basically, will turn out to be the best season we've seen. With O'Neill, like we could finish, we could finish fifth here this season. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but we could finish fifth. Based on our starting point, I think it would be a better season.
We could finish fourth.
But
I'm not
Jesus,
giving
Paddy,
up on that
you put the
one yet
flutters
either.
on me at that one. You put the flutters on me with that one. Yeah. So just a little bit of an interesting, and that wasn't a crack off Newcastle fans or anything like that. It just goes to show. Last year we raved, and I know I raved about Eddie Howe, and he was doing things that we'd never seen in the Premier League before. The turnaround is amazing. Unai Emery's turnaround is equally, if not more, amazing, based on the context around it, and based on the shorter period of time, and potentially, we're 2 points behind behind the points that Eddie Howe garnered, and we potentially could have that. Well, we will have that if we get 2 more points, we will reach that in less games, over the course of a season. So for me, that makes it a better season, and then, I definitely think Unai Emery has to be 100%. If Arteta gets it, the second place should, without a shadow of a doubt, be Unai Emery. And if Arteta doesn't get it, there's only one name on the list for me, and that has to be Unai Emery. It just has to be, and that's not claret and blue glasses. It's just it's outstanding, the turnaround that's happened. It's phenomenal, and it will. We we better cherish this season. We better cherish 1-0 scrappy 1-0 wins against Fulham, because mightn't be that way next season. It might be a bit more truncated with losses in between and stuff like that. We might still finish very high in the league next season, and I hope we do. But as I say, we're a 10-game unbeaten run. I'd be very surprised if we go on a 10-game unbeaten run next season. So this is a fantastic. This is a borderline historic period of time for Aston Villa in the Premier League. Definitely within the last 10 years. Anyway, it is. It's never been like this. And as I said before, 10 games in the Premier League unbeaten is better than 10 games winning in the Championship for me. Oh yeah.
Tom's comment: I'd rip your arm off for sixth. I know I joked about getting fourth. I would rip your hand off right now for seventh. That's how I feel about it. It's just getting giddy now that we've got the points on the board. We've gone ahead of Spurs. We hopefully will catch Man United at the weekend in tired form, having played extra time at the weekend, playing Thursday. We've 2 days extra rest. So I'm so looking forward to the run in now. I think we could afford to lose a couple of games and still get into Europe. That's the mad thing. But if we keep going, there's no reason why we can't get into Europa League, and handily. If we keep going on the run we're on, it's going to be difficult at the weekend. Spurs will make it difficult for us. Wolves will make it difficult for us.
Yeah.
Liverpool will definitely make it difficult for us. But we could be going into that last game of the season against Brighton. It's going to be an incredible day.
Brighton have 9 games to play between now and the end of the season. So Brighton have 9 games to play in 5 weeks.
And they have a lot of tough ones.
They have 7 games to play in the month of May, and we're last on that list. So, I know. I know
a lot of midweek games in there as well, including midweek in that last week of the season as well. Yeah.
So, I'm very much a guy who prefer to have the points. Like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, as the saying goes. So, from that point of view, a win tonight was so imperative. It was just imperative. We've now a 5-point buffer on Brighton. Liverpool will probably jump us. They're playing. Is it West Ham? Did you say their goal difference obviously is going to jump us? We have to look at Tottenham, but the big thing here now is staying ahead of Brighton and maybe trying to leapfrog Tottenham. And who's to say we can't do that at all? 6th, 5th, whatever, doesn't matter. 7th, even, as Paddy said. They're all good positions for me because they're positions we could have only dreamed of in October last season. Yeah. The only person in January that was disappointed and was talking about European football was the man here he's to my right as I'm looking to the screen. He might be to everybody else's right as you're looking at your screen as well. Paddy was giving out and he was spitting feathers over the fact that we didn't buy in more because he felt Europe might be on the cards. Well, we got the signing right in Unai Emery so far, and you may still be proven right if we run out of steam. But this is a phenomenal and monumental and historic season so far for Aston Villa.
This is the first time we've looked leggy and tired and running out of steam, and that's why I brought up the fact that he's asked these 11 players to go to the well so many times. It's going to be incredibly hard to keep this going. So it's important as fans we stick together and be as positive as we possibly can, because can you imagine next year playing in Europe? It would be incredible. Can you imagine the players we're going to attract to come and play with us? That's what's really making the justification for that 200 quid extra on my season ticket in 2 years. I'm okay with that if I'm looking at European football and I'm looking at really good players. But who knew we were looking at really good players? They were already there.
Yeah,
we just. I still think we're a couple short.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, our bench is light.
You know, it would have been nice to be resting guys and letting people take over today. I wonder, is there trust issues there with some of the players, and that's why he hasn't done it. So asking Ashley Young to play 3 games in a week while it's really, really tough, he will be mostly up for next weekend. I'm sure he's going to cherish that one going back to Old Trafford. So big one ahead for him, a big one ahead for the team. I just hope they get as much rest and recovery on the next couple of days, and then back into the classroom to see what the professor says about Sunday.
Exactly. Stato is in there. Yeah, we mentioned earlier on that first time 5 in a row in Villa Park, first time since 92-93 under Ron Atkinson. But also he comes in with a banger of a bolt-on stat here as well, which is fantastic. It's the first time we've done so while keeping clean sheets in all of those 5 games. First time since 1983. Yowza.
1983.
So, once again, making history here, guys. Making history. Unai, and what was that stat? You might throw it into the group again, because I know you butcher it. Fulham or Villa hadn't won a home midweek Premier League game since something 2020 versus Leeds or something like that.
Hadn't lost one.
Hadn't won one or something like that. I can't remember what it is. But there was
won all their midweek games this season.
At Villa Park, I think the thing was, or maybe Fulham hadn't lost away or something. I can't remember. I'm not expected to remember all this stuff. I'm an entertainer, not a memorizer. Yes, this is Aston Villa were winless in their last 9 midweek Premier League fixtures at Villa Park, drawn 5 and lost 4. Unai Emery, what did I say to that? I said that's a party that Unai Emery would love to poop, because so it's definitely something we've broken. Oh God, I can't even remember. The 3rd jersey hoodoo broken. Manchester United hoodoo again. That was broken, but he broke it again. Okay, he broke it again. Midweek hoodoo. There's been loads of them. Unai Emery just looks and he laughs in the face of danger, and long may it continue. Absolutely, long may it continue. Anything else, Paddy? Before we finish up, I'll tell you something. There's lights are blinding me, and I've got something in my eyes.
I'm ready for my bed. The match nearly put me to sleep, but now I'm buzzing again. Having spoken about it and reading the comments, I'm buzzing again. And look forward to the weekend. We'll catch up later in the week, and we'll go into a bit of detail about the season tickets, and we'll talk about Man U.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We've got a couple of things coming up this week, potentially time providing and guest provided as well. But we're going to leave it at that tonight, guys. I need to turn off these lights and stop looking at screens. My eyes are going to fall out of my head. But I really appreciate everybody. With over 700 people watching. I think that might be a record. Although I think we might have broke 1,000 when Steven Gerrard got sacked in this corresponding fixture last time. The last time. But thank you so much to absolutely everybody. If you could hit the thumbs up on your way out, costs you nothing to do so. And also, if you're not a subscriber, click on the subscription button. We come here, we do this every single week. We just want as much interaction, as much engagement as you possibly can get. I'm just really so sorry I can't read out every single one of your comments, but I do genuinely go back and read them. And do you know what? Sometimes I rob some of your opinions for myself as well. So just being open and transparent about this. But Aston Villa are in 5th place, however long it will last. It doesn't really, it doesn't matter. We're in 5th place tonight, and it's our job to stay there by winning our games and getting our results. And, if they're all 1-0 from here on to the end of the season, well, then I can imagine we will be very, very jubilant and buoyant because we will be in Europe. So until the weekend, we will be back with a preview show probably on Thursday night. Then we'll be back with our team sheet tantrum and our post match on Sunday as well. And I've got an inkling that I might have 1 or 2 thrown out in between. So if you do click the subscription button, click on the bell as well, so you'll be notified of those. But in the meantime, everybody get to bed. It's 10:30 here. I'm sure you all have work tomorrow. I don't have work tomorrow because I have the day off. So go in, enjoy yourselves, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.